Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Fidelity Bank breakfast with us. So a quick housekeeping tip. I haven't had a lot of coffee this morning, I've had a few sips, but quick housekeeping tip or request. Please take a moment to turn your phones onto mute or off, whatever you would prefer. We are recording. But we would prefer that it not ring in the middle of this conversation. We are so appreciative of the support and partnerships that we have with the businesses in the Nashoba Valley. As you may know, it is our mission and passion to help businesses, and the support of our corporate sponsorships really allows us the opportunity to continuously look for new ideas and ways to do that. Please join me as we recognize our corporate sponsors that are here with us today. Please stand when I call their name. We have Nadia, Carla, Cheryl from Enterprise Bank. If you register after I read the notes, sorry. I should go back and check. I will, next time. We have Melissa, Laura, Chris, and Kathy of Rollstone Bank and Trust. Because I'm like doing the, what is it? Chip Detwiller from Phoenix Park, Lex Vest Group. Thank you, Chip. Maria Milliken from Murphy Insurance Agency. Chord from Alpha Graphics. And Doug Reedy from Workers Credit Union. I would be remiss if I didn't take a second to recognize the members of our board of directors that are here with us today, who have also been amazingly supportive. Gary Archer from Archer's Mobile. Mike Coe from Catania Oils. Jose Banks from JNS Business Products. And Charlie Nicopolis from Nicopolis Insurance Agency. Of course, one business that we haven't yet recognized, and they have ongoingly supported us for over 20 years, 21 actually, because this is my 21st year at the Nashoba Valley Chamber, our Breakfast with the Boss sponsor, Fidelity Bank. I would like to welcome up Ed Manzi, Chairman and CEO of Fidelity Bank, to say a few words and tell us what Fidelity has been up
to. 21 years, that's a long time. You don't look a day over 20. So good morning, everyone. Thanks, Melissa, for that nice introduction. We've been doing this a long time, and it wasn't always the breakfast with the boss. There were other great speakers, but I got to tell you, I am so excited to be here today. Listen to Lisa Fiorentino talk about this treasure in our backyard. Lisa and I go way back. Our sons played like 5th grade basketball together or something. That was only a couple years ago too. I just want to put that out there. But it's really, wait till you hear this. If you haven't been there, if you haven't seen it, it's an amazing thing. And it really continues the positive momentum that we've been having in the Nashoba Valley for a long time now. And yeah, we're mostly here to celebrate the positive momentum, but we all know, I've had a lot of conversations this morning, not everything in the economy and in the world that we live in today is so positive. And I've been saying that for maybe 3 or 4 months now, that there were storm clouds in the air, and that was before these few banks failed, this little banking crisis. I'm pretty old, so I've been to a lot of banking crises and crises of economic nature, and they're all a little different, and this one is really different. So, the uncertainty that was already in the air because of inflation and all the things that come along with that it's just been exacerbated. And the Fed has been raising interest rates now for a year at unprecedented levels, and they went from 0 to 5% in a year. That is literally the fastest, most violent pace of interest rate increases ever, at least in modern history. And the whole point of it is to slow things down. So all of us are worried, appropriately worried about where are things going. Now, while there's a lot of worry in the air, and appropriately so, I think, there's no evidence yet of any significant problems. Our clients, and I've talked to many of you today, are doing fine. And that's really a positive statement about the resilience of our businesses and our community. And let's face it, this isn't the first time we faced uncertainty together, our bank and you, and it won't be the last. And if you think about it, most of you know who we are, but we've been around for 135 years serving the Nashoba Valley and Central Mass, and we've seen wars and recessions and depressions and inflation and deflation, and each time that we go through this, we come out the other side stronger and more resilient. And really, I'd say that this time is no different. The last 4 weeks since these banking things have been swirling around, our bank has gained more clients who are interested in and attracted by our unique approach to banking, our life design approach, which I'll talk about in a second. And also we have a 100% deposit insurance, so the security of, the peace of mind knowing that your money is 100% insured has been very helpful. But, what people I think sometimes think is all banks are pretty much the same because we offer the same products and services. And I've been saying this for a long time, and that's like saying all restaurants are the same because they sell food, and we know that's not true. Like under the hood, there's a difference in every restaurant, and there's a difference in every bank. And what makes us unique, I think, is our approach that we call life design banking. And what I'm really kind of excited to talk about today too is it's 20 years ago in March that we rolled out this new approach to banking with the opening of our first life design banking center in Shirley. And since that period of time, and people have been responding dramatically with their, people vote with their feet, they say. The bank has grown more than 5-fold in that period of time. We've been able to donate, our mission talks about helping clients, the community, our colleagues, get the clarity they need so they can move forward with confidence. Well, in that time, we've been able to do that for a lot of people, a lot of businesses, individuals, families, nonprofits. We've given over millions of dollars of support to nonprofits, one of which is the Broadway Hill Music Center here. And we've made billions of dollars of credit. Think about the lifeblood of the business community. People need loans to build their business, to buy equipment, to expand. So we've been really privileged to be part of that. And we have a great group of talented people here who use this unique 4-step process, we call it the CARE process, to help people make good decisions about their money. Decisions that are in your interest, not just the bank. So if the idea of having a bank that, our logo is a heart, right? It's kind of corny, but it's really who we care deeply about the well-being of the community and the clients that we serve. And if the idea of having this approach is appealing to you, please, after the meeting, reach out to any one of our caring colleagues. We would be honored to give it, to help you get where you want to be. So thank you very much, and look forward to hearing Lisa talk. Thank you.
We should recognize the team from Fidelity Bank that are here, and if you can stand. Thank you, Ed, and Fidelity Bank for your ongoing support of our community. If you haven't yet registered, do not worry. I will haunt you, as you know, for the 2023 Economic Forecast Breakfast sponsored by Fidelity Bank. It is scheduled for Thursday, April 13th. Thursday, April 13th. We have left some flyers on tables and a promo code for $5 off, so definitely register today. Last year, we added member recognitions at our breakfast series agenda. One thing that a great boss does is recognition, and so it seemed only natural to recognize businesses at our breakfast with the boss. And these are businesses that are contributing to the success of our region. Today, we are going to recognize 4 businesses that you will quickly recognize as leaders in our community. Applewood Control's website talks about a legacy of excellent engineering and flawless precision control panels. But more than that, they've spent 40 years building a legacy of a great way to run a small business. Randy, president, started there more than a couple of years ago as a co-op student at Monty Tech. He spent years coming up through the ranks, and he continues the tradition today by bringing in co-op students from both technical schools and colleges. Applewood designs, assembles, wires, and tests control panels to help automate a variety of industries, including consumer products, food and beverage, pharmaceuticals, and recycling. Their professional and experienced staff has an appreciation of what it takes to operate and maintain sophisticated machinery and equipment. Having spent several years on Devon's, where Applewood built relationships with a number of local clients, they bought and renovated a building in Air in 2019. They continue to grow and expand. The last couple of years have offered many challenges to their supply chain, and they've spent time exploring and finding sources for American-made parts to meet their needs. Affiliated with Dependable Controls in Seabrook, New Hampshire, they jointly have 21 employees with local staff of 8. When Randy isn't manning at the helm of Applewood Controls, he and his family run a small family farm with goats, chickens, hay fields, and a bunch of buildings to maintain. Join me in congratulating Applewood Controls on their 40th anniversary.
I don't know if you want to say a few words. You're welcome to. I throw everybody under a bus.
There you go. You get my speech here. Just once again, I definitely appreciate everything the chamber does for us. It's a great continued support, great, revitalize the area, and really, we've also been appreciative of AIR and everything they've done, welcoming us, in open arms. So, thank you very much.
Pulling glasses. 20 years ago, Mike Davis was driving to work on holiday weekend, having left his wife and 3 little kids at home, when he had an epiphany. He drove by a young dad playing with his kids in the yard and realized that he needed a better life. 2 months later, he quit his job and was on his way to a new career in the finance industry. Lots of hard work and creativity later, Mike's goal is to build a great future for his clients. Bright Future Financial can help with your investments and offers tools to help executives and small business owners with fee-based planning, insurance, including long-term care and disability, and succession planning. Whether it's planning for the retirement you dream of, sending the kids to college. Mike is just back from his first college visit to BC with his 16-year-old son. Travel or creating more family time, Mike invests the same level of care for your family that he would give to his own. Bright Future Financial celebrates 10 years of taking the time to know their clients and what they truly care about on a personal level. Mike and his team will work with you one-on-one to determine your financial goals, your risk tolerance, and to help you achieve what you value most. It is apparent that the years ahead will bring good things to Mike Davis, his family, and the team at Bright Future Financial. Congratulations on your 10-year anniversary.
You don't want to say anything? Like,
Sure. Thank you so much. I want to thank Melissa and the Chamber. Critical in getting started in my business. I joined the Chamber shortly after I started business, and getting involved in different events, meeting people just like you. I was able to build a business. So that critical, in any business growth. Thank you. Thank you very much.
on behalf of the Nashoba, I accept your award as well.
CEO Gene Goldsberry explains that at Minuteman Arc, they try to help every person have the best day they can every day. Celebrating their 65th anniversary, Minuteman Arc improves the lives of children and adults with disabilities through therapeutic services, employment, recreation, housing, and community involvement. Concord's 4th largest employer, Minuteman Arc serves over 1,300 clients annually and has 225 employees. They offer a full lifespan of program with services available to babies, children, and adults. In recent years, Minuteman Arc has moved day programs to a new building, expanded and improved sports courts and facilities, and improved outdoor spaces. Last fall, launched the Oasis Project, an amazing serpentine path with seating and outdoor musical instruments. The Oasis is fully accessible with a pathway made of wood chips mixed with an emulsion so that it looks rustic but works with wheelchairs. It is much more fun to invite clients to play in the Oasis than to say it's time for exercise. My work needs an oasis as well. The most important part of Minuteman Arc, though, isn't the facts, but the feeling. Gene talks about the phenomenal staff and their wonderful and engaging programs. It's a warm and fun place to be, full of smiles and hugs. Their self-advocate program helps clients to participate in the community with training in American Sign Language, involvement in local meetings and events, and charitable endeavors such as a recent White Sock Drive for Emerson Hospital. We wish Minuteman Arc's special people, both staff and clients, a wonderful 65th anniversary.
Thank you so much, Melissa and the Chamber. This is quite an honor, and we really appreciate it. I want to recognize two of our board members who are here today, Cheryl Serpy and Nadia Nedelcheva, who are part of our all-volunteer board that really supports and helps us further our mission. I thought the earlier speaker's comment about restaurants are all the same because they all serve food. Well, organizations like Minuteman are vastly different as well. We really focus on quality and making sure that people get the best services they possibly can. That's been our mission for 65 years and it's still going. Thank you.
Hanscom Federal Credit Union is proud to celebrate its 70th anniversary this year as a trusted and innovative financial institution. At the heart of everything they do are their 5 core values: putting members first, operating with integrity, fostering teamwork, encouraging innovation, and showing empathy. With over 95,000 members nationally and worldwide, plus 21 branches in Massachusetts and Virginia, Hanscom Federal Credit Union is dedicated to helping its members achieve financial wellness with unbiased financial guidance. The credit union welcomes anyone to join and benefits from unique programs and services designed to help everyone achieve financial wellness wherever they are in life. Speaking with Diana of Hanscom Federal Credit Union's marketing department, she explains that she was a member long before she worked there and never saw herself as a traditional member of the banking industry. But she explains, at Hanscom Federal Credit Union, staff isn't there for banking. They come to work to help members. Staff members talk about members in fond terms, and it's evident that caring for members is of the highest priority. The credit union is there to reach out a hand through all of life's ups and downs. Although Hanscom Federal Credit Union is proud of their earliest affiliation with Hanscom Air Force Bank, and they retain this relationship, today membership is open to anyone. Please join us in welcoming Hanscom Federal Credit Union at a happy 70th anniversary.
Thank you, Melissa, and to the Chamber for inviting us here today. As she mentioned, we truly do love our members. I'm sure we have some members in this room, and we owe everything to our members. So thank you.
Very special thanks to Ellen of JNS Business Products for interviewing the businesses and writing these presentations. I have to point out and note a quote. This was really fun, nice people. When talking to any one of the 4, conversation is never about themselves, money, or profits. It's about their wonderful employees, about family, about good clients in the community. Pretty special. So. And for all of our award winners, we will do photos in front of the logos and at the end with our friends from Fidelity Bank. So the other reason that we are here this morning, our breakfast with the boss. Today we are joined by Lisa Fiorentino, CEO of Groton Hill Music. As CEO of Groton Hill Music Center, Lisa has been instrumental, see what we did there? In creating... Everyone laughed. Oh, they're laughing at me. Creating a new regional world-class hub for music. The newly opened center in Groton is a 126,000 square foot music education and performance space where people from all over New England can enjoy and be part of exceptional music. In addition to being a destination where music lovers can see renowned performers like Leanne Rimes this Friday, be inspired from visiting artists or learn how to play an instrument, Lisa hopes the center will spur and support economic development in Groton and surrounding communities. Without further ado, I'm going to invite Jason Kelby, our interviewer, and Lisa Fiorentino, our interviewee, up to have a seat and begin the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all again. It's my pleasure to lead the conversation with Lisa. If you drive down Oldham Road in Groton over the past several years, I guess you've probably been able to witness an amazing transformation. For me, the first sign that something special was going on was when they started repairing the rock retaining wall. And the art, the craftsmanship that went into that. And it's rightly received the name of the Great Wall of Groton. And then you got to see sprout out of this old horse barn and field this amazing facility. And so this morning we're going to talk about the past, present, and future of Groton Hill music. And to set the stage, see what I did there, Melissa? We're going to ask Lisa to lead us through a slideshow that we need Melissa up here to do, to just show us the facility so that you all have a good idea of what we're talking about this morning. So as Lisa did, or as Melissa gets up here, go ahead, Lisa.
The first screen.
Is that on?
Hello? Thank you, Jason, and thank you, Melissa and the Chamber, for asking me to be here today. I'm very excited to be here to share with you all the things that we have going on at Groton Hill. So, this is our building. How many of you might have been to Groton Hill Music Center already? Awesome, great. Well, I'm glad that you were there. I'm going to go through and show you some of the pictures, and I can tell you quite honestly, and I think the people who have been in our building will agree, it's nothing until you're there. You know, the pictures are great, and I'm going to show them to you, but if you get a chance to come out and visit us, I hope that you will, because it truly is an awe-inspiring building. But of course, a building is only as good as the organization that is in it. So let me kind of talk a little bit first about our organization. Groton Hill Music is a nonprofit music education and performance center. And our mission is to share the transformative power of music through teaching and performing and giving music generously when there is need. We're a music school that serves over 1,500 students of all ages and abilities, and we help them to find their musical voice. We're a performance venue that offers high-quality guest artists in all genres of music with concerts that are energizing and inspiring. And we give back to the community through music philanthropy, where we have free programs that we offer in public schools, such as Fitchburg, Lawrence, and Lowell, where we go into those school districts and provide music education that would not otherwise be available to those children. We also are in Boys and Girls Clubs, and then we help seniors as well. We have community concerts where we give free concerts to senior citizens. We have box lunch concerts, which help senior citizens from assisted living facilities. And we also have a threshold choir that sings at the bedsides of individuals at the end of life. So overall, we are a community organization committed to sharing music with everyone in our region. So as we start, I'm going to stand up if that's okay. Here's our overall building. As Jason said, or Melissa said, I think it's a 126,000 square foot building. We actually own 110 acres of land. The building itself is set on 33 acres, and then we own agriculturally restricted land behind the building and across the street. The goal being that this will be a beautiful agrarian feel, and that the nature will be able to be one with the music when we're actually in our facility. So here's the entryway when you first come up. We have a lovely multi-purpose room that you see right there. And then we have music studios and a beautiful entrance. So this is taken from the hill, Indian Hill Road. So you might know that we used to be called Indian Hill. We are a 38-year-old organization. I actually call us a 38-year-old startup, because that is kind of what we are right now, that we have actually taken ourselves from here to here and done it like this. And so there's all kinds of things that we need to do to get ready for that. And so this actually was taken from the top of Indian Hill Road, which we actually are now adjacent to. And this just gives you a sense of the building and the concert halls. This is our 1,000-seat concert hall. We have a 300-seat concert hall. And these are world-class concert halls right here in Groton, right here in central Massachusetts, where people can come and hear wonderful artists with incredible acoustics. This is the back of the building. This gives you a sense. We have lobby areas. An important component for us as an organization is to be a community gathering place. We are very big on community. We want people who walk through our doors to feel warm, welcomed, and included. And so what we've created here is a way that people can be gathering, they can be together, they can be centered around music, whether it's a student coming with their family, whether it's a concert goer. There are all kinds of spaces throughout that allow people to be able to gather. And this is our 1,000-seat concert hall. So yeah, that's the jaw-dropping that I mentioned earlier. And that will happen when you walk through our doors. It's amazing. I will never not love the feeling when someone who new comes and walks in and just is in awe of what is in this building. It is incredible. There's wood throughout the building. There's blue laminated southern yellow pine. There's ash. There's oak. And it's all created in a way, again, to be a world-class facility. So you're looking down from the balcony. Again, this is a 1,000-seat concert hall. This hall actually has a door that opens onto a lawn audience as well. So you can't see it from this particular picture, but there's also a lawn audience that will be part of this. The screen in the back is a projection screen so that we can project all kinds of images onto the screen. There's an area in the back where you could be sitting so that there's a concert in the round, so you could actually be looking from the back. Especially we have a professional orchestra, and so sitting in those back seats and watching the orchestra is a different experience than what you might get in other locations. And what I've heard from people as they've been coming, because we've been doing concerts now in this particular hall since January, we've been open since September, there's not a bad seat in the house. And what I found is that many people are coming and they're sitting in different locations each time because they want to kind of pick the one that they like the best, and then they come and they're like, I can't decide which one I actually like, which is very, very cool. Next slide. This is from the other angle, so these are the seats that are behind the stage, and you'll see the door that I mentioned in the back. That will open up. It's actually an airplane hangar door kind of thing. That's what it was designed by, that we can open onto a lawn audience. You see the balconies. There are panels that can be raised or lowered depending upon what's on the stage, so that we can actually make sure that we have world-class acoustics, because when an orchestra is on stage, it would be different than when we have Leanne Rhymes here on Friday night. That's going to be a different feel. So we can adjust things within that concert hall to make sure that the experience is just incredible and world-class. This is a picture of Meadow Hall, which is our 300-seat hall. That opened in October. We had 17 concerts from October to December. We welcomed in all kinds of genres of music, all kinds of people were coming in. It was really quite a wonderful event. And then in January 21st, we opened up our 1,000-seat concert hall. This is Meadow Hall. Again, this is from the stage looking out. It's a really intimate space. What I love about this space is no matter where you sit, you feel really close to the artists on stage. There's seats on the side, there's seats above, there's seats right in the middle, and the stage is right here. And people really feel like they can actually be communicating with the artist in a different way because it's a very intimate feel. That same feel is actually true in our 1,000-seat hall. Even though it's 1,000 seats, because it's on multi-levels, it actually feels really close, and that's another component, is wanting to make sure that when people are there, they feel close to the artist and close to what's going on. This is our entryway, and this is another one of those jaw-dropping kinds of things. When you first walk in, there are 8 pillars, these very large, blue laminated southern yellow pines. Our architect called this the octo tree. And so you walk in and you are just greeted by the wood. There's stone within the building. The quality and the craftsmanship is really quite incredible, and we are so very lucky to have such an incredibly wonderful building. And then this gives you a sense of the lighting. What I find most amazing, what people tell me all the time, is that what the architects did and how they viewed this building, first of all, they knew who we were. They wanted to create something that was a gathering place, but they also wanted to create something that was very lyrical and that kind of fit who we are. So there's lighting that's kind of spread out throughout. There's curves throughout the building. There's really not a right angle in this building. Everything is curved, and everything just feels musical and feels lyrical, and they really spent a lot of time to think that through when they were designing this building. This is the back of our patio area. So we have a dining room. So the goal is, again, that we're creating an experience that when you come to a concert, you can also come and have dining beforehand and just enjoy the whole night. So you come, you park right on site, you don't have to worry about finding off-site parking. You come in, you have your dinner if you so choose, and then you go to a concert. We have concession areas as well. We also have outdoor dining. So you can see off in the distance, that is the dining room, and then we will be able to have in the warm weather months outdoor dining as well. We'll be able to do things like festivals where we have people coming and having master classes and workshops. All of our students get free opportunities within their tuition, and so that's part of what we do. We'll have festival kind of situations where people can be enjoying this absolutely incredible landscape, because it really is quite wonderful. This is one of our concession areas. So again, the idea that you can come and you can relax. There are lobby spaces where you can be sitting down and enjoying yourself. And that's really been wonderful. As I said, people are just gathering together and having a great time right here in central Massachusetts. You don't have to go to Boston. You can come out here because there are so many wonderful things to do out here. We're envisioning, and I've already seen people coming from all over the place. I've had people come up from Florida and New York and New Jersey and Connecticut and Rhode Island. They're coming from all over to hear some of our artists and to be part of this. And so when they come here, they really get an incredible experience, and we want to make sure that that experience from beginning to end is just a great experience for everyone who's there. This gives a little bit of our artwork. We actually are trying to really design a fun place centered around music. And this is one of our lobby spaces. Again, it goes back to the gathering space where people can just relax and enjoy being together, whether that's for concerts or even for students. So, we have a lot of students. As I said, we have over 1,500 students, and when a family comes, they can be sitting here and enjoying, their time while their child's taking a lesson, or we have 25% of our students are adults. So if any of you want to consider taking music lessons, there's a great music school that you can go to. And this is a view of our upstairs, our second floor. The architects call this the Orchard Alley. So this used to be an apple orchard. And so one of the things that you'll see in a lot of this architecture is that much of it was done to be able to remember what was on that site. And so this is the idea of the trees that are there, and just, again, a beautiful landscape full of trees. We do music lessons, as I said. We have recitals for all of our students, free recital opportunities. This is a small recital room. It's called the Orchard Room. And here we will do about 200 recitals a year for our students. And so this is about 65 people that can sit here, enjoy watching their student, whether it be a child or an adult, show you everything that they've accomplished with their proud teacher standing in the background. It's really a wonderful kind of experience. And obviously we have pianos. We have lots and lots of pianos. And beautiful Steinways. This is our piano lab that we have, which is wonderful. About half of our students are actually piano students. And we have this wonderful digital piano lab that can actually serve for both beginner children and beginner adults who want to learn to take piano. It's wonderful technology that really helps the teacher to be able to interact with each individual student through headphones and just really be able to connect with each other. And that's who we are. We share the transformative power of music. So I know we're going to talk a little bit more, but thank you for seeing all the slideshow, and I hope that you will come, because as I said, there is nothing like walking in those doors. It really is quite incredible. We do all kinds of programming, trying to get programming for everyone who wants to come and see different things, different genres of music. Even with our school, we do 30 plus instruments. We have 75 music teachers. We have something for everyone, I will say. So.
All right, thank you, Lisa. We'll get questions to follow up on, and then we'll open it up to the floor for questions. So get ready for that. So part of what makes this so amazing, this whole facility we have, is to know where this organization came from. We said it started 38 years ago. It was most recently in a building in Littleton at one of the most craziest busy intersections. Talk to us about the history and how it started and how it's grown, and then how you came to be involved.
It was Indian Hill Music, and it was actually created by a small group of individuals who were music teachers who wanted to focus on music. And so they decided to create an organization that would be focused on music lessons and music education. They also had a professional orchestra, which we still have today. The Vista Philharmonic Orchestra is what it's titled now, and wanted to really have a place where people could come out in this particular region to be able to have high quality music. Started 38 years ago. It started in Groton. It actually was founded on Indian Hill Road. So when I talk about us being back across from Indian Hill, it's like coming home, quite honestly, because this is where that organization was first founded. And so eventually they got big, moved to Littleton, purchased the building that we had there, which was 36 King Street, and kind of it went from there. We had 20 music studios at the time, and we were running out of room and running out of space. We won't have that problem, hopefully, in this particular building. And so it was an organization, again, dedicated to music. And it's very similar to what it is now. I think our mission has expanded and magnified, but it's always been true to the core, which was about bringing music, helping people to grow, personal growth as they learn, as they express themselves through music, because there's nothing like music to be able to express yourself or to be able to just interact. It does something that many other forms of communication do not do. And so that was how the organization was designed and how it was founded, and we've just continued that since that period of time. How I came to be involved, I've been with the organization for 15 years. I actually have a corporate background. I was at Net Scout Systems in Westford. I was their Vice President of Finance and Administration. It was a wonderful career path. I had small children, and I made a decision that as much as this was a fabulous career for me, I wanted to be with my family as well. So I decided to leave the corporate world And at the time, Indian Hill was looking for a director of finance. It was a part-time position, and I said, hey, that'd be great. I could do that while I'm also spending time with my family, because I didn't want to just be completely at home. I felt I needed to do more than that. So I went to Indian Hill. It was right around the time of the recession that we had at that point in time. Worked with them, a fabulous group of people who were so excited about what they were doing to really get us through what was a tough time. We all worked together to do that. And then a few years later, well, probably about 8 years later, I guess I would say, this idea came along, and it was, wow, this is really great. We could do this kind of thing. And so we changed kind of how we were thinking about who we were as an organization, but made sure that we were true to who we were. We spent some time making sure that our values were written down, that we knew what we wanted to do, because it's much harder as an organization as you get bigger to stay true to who you are unless you really take the time to know who you are, document it, and then make sure that you're living that out all the time. So we spent time doing that, and we're here. I don't know if I can.
Right. Yeah, no, that's great. And, all of this clearly was made possible by an extremely generous gift. And it's such a testament to the organization that was built by those before you and yourself, that someone had the confidence in you to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the key. I think, again, we're a nonprofit, and we do rely on contributed revenue. And I think that it's important that when people look at your organization, that they feel that it's going to be well-managed, that it's going to be sustainable, and that people are going to be responsible stewards of the donations that you receive. And I think that that led to us being able to have this wonderful building, is that we made sure, I do call ourselves a mission-driven organization that acts like a business. That is because I have a business background and because it makes sense to me that we would do it that way. And so when we do anything, we analyze what's going on. We have to make trade-offs like every other organization does, but we are a nonprofit, so we also have to think about our mission. So we evaluate things. We want to use our resources the appropriate way. And I think people take note of that. I mean, you'll see it in your businesses. People want to work with businesses that are well-managed, that are really thinking through what makes the most sense for their community. And so we spent a lot of time making sure that we did things the right way, and I think that did lead to us being able to be noticed. We were being watched as an organization that had a lot of potential to be what we are today, and I think people need to feel comfortable and say, yes, this is an organization that can actually succeed in that way.
You've also told me you call your contributors investors, and so how do they see their return on their investment?
Well, again, while it is donations that people are giving, in the end, they're investing in you as an organization, they're investing in your mission, and investing in the people that you're serving. And so it's important that people actually, the donors that come to us, actually see a return. And that comes in many different ways. It comes from the fact that we have children who are getting up on stage and performing and expressing themselves. And I'll even say these days there's a lot of mental health issues out there. It's hard out there right now, and music does something that, again, other things don't do. And so I think our investors or our donors have the opportunity to look and see this amazing facility, come into the facility, feel like they're part of a community. I think one of the things that we do really well as an organization is build relationships and community. It's a family. And I know I've heard others saying it as well, and I think as business owners, you all know that that's one of the most important ways. You have to connect with whoever it is that you're serving. And that's our patrons, our donors, our students, our concert goers, everyone. And it's important to always be thinking about that connection that needs to be made, and then the rest kind of comes from there, hopefully.
Let's pull on that thread a bit of community. You're in the town of Groton. From where I sit, I think the response has been overwhelmingly supportive. But how are you, now that you're back at home, you come back, thank you for coming back.
Sure.
How are you, instead of just being isolated at that campus, how are you ingraining yourself in the community?
Well, I think there's a number of things we're doing. We acknowledge that this is a big deal, and we're going into a small town. And so we need to make sure that we are and maintain a community organization. I know I keep using that word, but it is kind of part of our DNA. So we need to look at everything that we're doing and make sure that it also is benefiting the people that are coming to our facility, that people within our community. One of the first things that we did when we came and we were moving into this place is we created the Groton Community Fund. We are a nonprofit. We did want to be able to give back to the town that is actually our host community. So we actually attach $2 to our ticket, so we have our ticket price include $2 that actually will be given back on each ticket for professional performance to the town of Groton. So that way they are getting some funds to be able to support what we have going on. I think that that's an important component of what we do, and I think it's a requirement that we do that kind of thing. The other thing that we do in terms of the community, we want to be a community organization. We actually, the Groton Road Race is going to be held at our site. We're working with the Groton Road Race on that kind of thing. So we're looking at the different kinds of things that we can do to make sure that we're a community organization and that we're giving back. And then we listen and we try to do what we can to address issues. You know, right now, things are going really well. I hope that that will continue. If someone has a concern, we want to talk to them and we want to understand what it is. I might not be able to solve every issue, but I want to listen, I want to understand what's going on and see if there is anything that we could do to be able to solve that. The other thing in terms of the community is that Groton created Destination Groton. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but it is actually a committee within the town of Groton. I worked with the Groton Business Association on a 100-page report that would talk about the economic development that this can bring, not just to Groton, but to the region. And as I said earlier, we have people coming from all over the place. And I really do believe performance venues make a huge difference when you think about economic development. People come, they want to have dinner beforehand, they might stay in a hotel overnight, they might go to any of the various recreations that are going on. This community, this region is just rich with all the different kinds of recreational things that you can do. And so really, we can serve as a catalyst for bringing people here to expand businesses. We can also serve as a catalyst when you think about employees and people wanting to come out here. We know it's a really hard market right now to hire people, and you want to be able to benefit people. And so being out in this region and having something like this enhances the quality of life. And I think that that makes a huge difference not only to Groton, but to the entire region.
So let's switch gears a little bit. This is a group of business people that used to business plans, planning and growth, and this was a transformational opportunity. As we were talking earlier, the construction side took care of itself. You had pros to do that. You're the business side. What did you need to do to change your organization to then be ready to move into this facility and make full use of it and make it a success?
Sure. Well, the first thing I did was created a business plan, a long-range business plan that would go through and kind of give us that roadmap for what it was that we were going to do, how we were going to grow into this world, who we needed to hire. One of the things for us, and the reason why I called ourselves a startup, is because we had to hire people long before we moved into this building, because we needed to get ready for all of that. So we needed startup funds to do that. We did have a fundraising campaign that actually is still going on and will go on through the end of this year. So step one is a business plan, making sure that you go through, figure out what it is that we want, who we're going to need, how we're going to grow, what's going to happen. And then a lot of communication with our staff to make sure that we knew the path, we knew what we were doing. I call it, we had a growth plan. And as happened to many people, the pandemic didn't help that. But at the same time, we were growing dramatically. We were increasing our programs, making sure that we were doing more than what we had done in the past. So again, expanding our mission. So we had been known as a classical organization. We still have a symphony orchestra. We still do a lot of classical music. We also do all genres of music now, because you really need to widen the tent, is what we call it, of people who are coming to our organization. So we spent a lot of time looking at our programming and making sure that we had something that would appeal to that broader community that we were now going to be serving. So with a business plan, with a growth plan, lots of marketing that you obviously have to do. You know, people have always said to us that we're a hidden gem. It's great to be a gem, not great to be hidden. So, and you all can appreciate that. So making sure that we were out there and telling people about things and dealing with social media and all kinds of different ways that we could make sure that people knew what was coming. And now that we're here, it's a continued path. You know, we're getting used to this building. You have an idea about how it might function, and then you get there, and it takes a long time to figure out how it's going to actually work. You know, I was telling someone earlier, when we were first moving in, it was like we needed wayfinding signs. Well, you can't really do wayfinding signs until you figure out how people are going to move and maneuver and those kinds of things. And you might have ideas about what the building's going to do, and then you get there and go, yeah, maybe that doesn't quite work. So it's kind of a continual evolution at this point in time, with lots of planning, lots of communication. I have a fabulous group of people that we work with that are really, really dedicated to our organization and making things work. You all know it, it's all about employees and how much they bring to the table. And we have a wonderful group of people that communicates a lot. We talk about things, continuous improvement. So when we do something, we talk about it after. What went well, what didn't go well, what do we need to fix going forward, what do we want to maintain. All of those kinds of things are what we continually do.
And now all of a sudden you find yourself in the business of having to book world-class acts.
Yes.
So how did you expand and get the bandwidth and the ability to do that?
Sure. Well, we hired a few people. So we hired a director of operations who has a background in the performing arts, and we also hired a production manager who actually was also a tour manager, out touring with many artists. And so we had those two people that added to myself and a director of education and performance programming that we have. And the four of us are the ones who pretty much work on making sure that we have the right artists on stage. Again, this is, it's a marketing problem, I will guess, in some way, or a marketing challenge, in that we need to go out to artists and agents and get them to know who we are. And so there's a strategy behind everyone that we're putting on stage. In the fall, we only had our 300-seat hall, so that changed the kind of artists that we could actually bring in, because there's financials behind all of this kind of thing. But we went out and we wanted to make sure that we got some higher-end artists that we could bring into the room and have them have a wonderful experience. So they go back and they tell their agents, other artists, hey, you want to go check out this Groton Hill music because this place is phenomenal and those people are wonderful and the audiences are excited. It's kind of building momentum over time. And then what we're looking at strategically is who we put on stage. We have Leanne Rimes coming on Friday night. Leanne Rimes is coming to Groton. That's really awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a strategic component to that because now she's a big name and she is with a big agent, and so we want to make sure she has a fabulous time, and then they're going to tell their other artists and other agents. We have Leslie Odom Jr. coming, all kinds of people that we really want to strategically be bringing the people in that we need to, so that people start to realize that there is this fabulous performance center right here in central Massachusetts that's going to give the artist an awesome time. It's going to sell well because audiences want to come to this kind of thing. We all know we can go into Boston and there's some great stuff going on in Boston, and I'm sure everyone will do that when it makes sense, but you can come right out here and have something that's a very different kind of experience because it'll feel different because of who we are as an organization and who our region is.
It's a bit of maybe a softball or a curveball, I'm not sure which, and it's open-ended, but as you said, there was a wow moment when you thought this was going to happen, and there was a lot of challenges. Was everything a surprise, or were there things that stick out that were certain surprises to you through this process?
Surprises. Not so much surprises. Certainly there's challenges. And I will say, we didn't just leap into this. We had to sit down and have some really serious conversations. I know as business owners, you all know, you're going to sit there and go, can we do this? Does this make sense? You don't want to say no, obviously. On the flip side of things, you have to make sure that it's going to be something that you can do. And so we did spend a lot of time thinking about that. And I think in terms of surprises, I will say that it's going even better than I had hoped it would go, so that's a good surprise. And that just the outpouring and the number of people that have been coming and the excitement that we've been having, all of that has been truly wonderful. And certainly there are those challenges. As I said earlier, I think, the building, we thought it was going to do certain things, and now it might do things a little bit differently. So we have to adjust for all of those kinds of things. But again, we have a great group of people who are working really hard to make those things happen. And if we're adjusting, hopefully anyone who's walking through the doors doesn't know, because you don't want them to necessarily know if we might be adjusting something off to the side. We want to make sure that it's just a beautiful experience for people. So I think it really is, I'm surprised in some ways that it's going quite as well as it is, but I guess in a good way.
Sure. And then as a nonprofit, you stay true to your nonprofit mission. We talk about the impact of this on Groton as a concert venue, but go a little deeper into your impact as a nonprofit in the charitable work you do, or in the work with students and,
Sure.
with the seniors and those who are passing.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you an example. So we had box lunch concerts that we've actually had for years. And they are concerts where we had this flat floor area, and we still have one in our new building. Round tables, people from assisted living facilities would come, people who are physically or mentally challenged would come in. They would be able to enjoy a professional concert while they had their lunch. And so that's been a program that's been going on forever, or for probably like 15 years or something like that. So when we moved into the new facility, we started seeing all kinds of other seniors who wanted to come, and all of a sudden, we were maxing out of the number of people that we could have in the room. We were finding that we couldn't have as many of our people from assisted living facilities. So we said, okay, this isn't going to work. We need to make sure we're reaching a broad group of individuals. So we moved box lunch back to be for assisted living facilities, and we introduced free community concerts during the day, especially for seniors who don't like to drive at night. We announced one for at the end of March. It sold out in like 3 days, and I mean sold out because we had reservations. So you can see, we just had it at the about a week ago. We had about 800 people walking through the door, free concert, and what I loved about that, it was seniors, but it was also some families. So people who were looking for something to do with their families. It was a Wednesday afternoon at noontime. So you could see that impact of people just coming in and getting to have an opportunity that they would not normally otherwise have. That's huge. Also, I mean, as Jason mentioned, and I said earlier, we have a Threshold Singers Choir, which is a quite incredible and wonderful experience for families who are struggling with an end-of-life situation. And you can just, if you experience that, you can understand how critical that is. And then we have what we do out in the schools. You know, Fitchburg, Lowell, they don't have the kind of music education opportunities that many other communities have, and that's not fair. We want to make sure that all kids have the opportunity to have music education. And so what happens is, in addition to having their weekly lessons and whatnot that they have concerts. And you go and you see the smiles on these kids' faces. That's where you get the impact. That's where you see what goes on. And it's not even just, I would say, the free work that we do. It's also our students. You know, this means so much to them that they can express themselves, that they have something that is theirs, that they can do, that they can come out and write a song or learn a piece or whatever it might be. And I also love it when adults do that because, you know, we all know kids are kind of resilient. They'll get up on stage and they won't worry about it. But as you get older, you know, adults are a little bit more, you know, careful about what they're doing on stage. But when I see an adult get on stage at a recital and perform, and you can see their family smiling, it matters. It makes a difference. You know, it's important that there is that social interaction, those connections that you can make through music. It's part of just the quality of life, and I think that we see it every day with anything that we do. And certainly anyone who comes through our doors, I think, sees it as well.
Great. Let's open it up to questions. We have questions from the audience. We answered everything.
Wow, I did that good of a
Here's one, Tom.
Excellent. So, what were some of the most supportive organizations in the local community that helped you guys out?
Well, certainly, I mean, there's not an organization necessarily, but the Destination Groton Committee has been wonderful. They are a group of 5 individuals, business owners and community members who really want to make sure that the world knows about this and that the economic development happens. And so they've been really wonderful to deal with. You know, public safety officials have been fabulous. And then we have sponsors, and we have a lot of wonderful sponsors. I mean, Ed mentioned Fidelity Bank is one of our sponsors, Enterprise Bank, Rollstone Bank. There's so many sponsors that we have, and I think that overall we've seen a tremendous amount of outpouring from corporations and from business people to be able to sponsor what we're doing. And that is important for us because, again, we're a nonprofit organization. And so what it does is it gives us that extra money that we need to make sure that we're doing all the programs that we need to. And it gives those businesses a chance to be associated with a really good organization and to get their name out and to be heard, which I think is, you know, to know that, you know, they're supporting something like this and they're supporting arts and culture within their region. So I think, you know, across the board, I guess I'm remiss that I mentioned a few people and didn't mention the long list of people, so I apologize to anyone that I did not mention. But I think overall we have been thrilled with the community support and just the encouragement and how can I help kind of mentality that has been out there, not only for corporations but from individuals and just in general.
It's good to see overwhelming support.
Yes, I think so too.
You have a volunteer corps too, right? Talk about
Oh, thank you. I should have said that. We have the best volunteers. You know, and volunteering at Groton Hill isn't just, you know, show up and stand there and say hi to people. We do training. I mean, you have interviewed in advance. You have to do training because when I go back to thinking about what I talked about earlier with the values of the organization, we want everyone to walk through the door to feel who we are. Warm, welcoming, respected, accepted, all those kinds of things. And our volunteers need to be an extension of our staff. We do have a very lean staff to run this building. And we could not do it without our volunteers. And we have the most fabulous group of people who, they come a lot, they're smiling, they're working hard in the way that they would, in their capacity as an usher or as a ticket taker or whatever it is. They're enthusiastic. It's actually built its own community, which I love. That now they're just a group of volunteers who all know each other, who are doing great things for the organization, for the community, and it's huge because, as I said, we have a really small staff. We can only afford to have so many people on staff, but when we have volunteers that are doing that and making a difference, it truly makes the experience that much better. So thank you for mentioning that.
Sure. Other questions? Anyone? Oh, yes, sir, in the back.
So I'm just curious, you have 2 concert halls. How many concerts do you expect to have in a given year, not including what you have for the schools?
Sure. Well, in the fall, as I said, we had about 18 concerts when we just had our 300-seat hall. I think over time, it varies based upon artists and routing and when they're coming through, but I would anticipate that we'd be doing about maybe 40 different kinds of things over the course of a year, and that could grow as well. Again, it depends. It'll be based upon, there's also organizational bandwidth. And one of the things that I need to be really careful of is, as a performance venue, the hours are different. You're working nights, you're working weekends, there's all different kinds of things that need to come into play. And again, we have a lean staff. So we only can do so much. And while we want to make sure that we're bringing in all different kinds of things and doing things that benefit everyone, we have to be careful on that. So while I'd like to get up to that, say, 40 number or something, I'm guessing at that. It's going to depend upon how our organization grows, what we do, what comes along down the pike that we might want to look at, and go from there.
Anyone else? Yes, right here.
You mentioned you have a lot of land, obviously it's agricultural, and there are limitations, I'm guessing, but do you have any plans to do anything on the land? How can you explain?
Sure. Well, the land is agriculturally restricted, so it has to be maintained that way. We will start by paying the land. I don't have the experience to do anything else. So we will be paying the land. So most of it will just be kept as the beautiful agrarian feel. We do have, as I said, we have a lawn audience. So when you open the back door of the 1,000-seat, there's a place that people can be gathering to be able to, bring a picnic or whatever, or sit there and be able to enjoy music. We're not doing that right away. That goes back to bandwidth, and we're still working, actually. We opened in September, but the outside is still not completed yet. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done there. So the inside of the building is in good shape. Outside, we're still fixing things and making sure we're all set. So we won't actually open the lawn until we're ready to do that, and it makes sense to do that. But eventually down the road, that's what we want to do.
You had a question over here?
You answered it. It was about the lawn, when the lawn was going to be open.
As soon as we can, we will.
Landscaper, submit your business cards. Any other questions? Yes.
Do you have a crystal ball where you see the center in 10 years, 20 years?
I see it as a robust performance venue and educational center where people are coming. I see it as just really a continued extension of what we're doing. This is the dream, and we're already living the dream, I have to say. So what we do today, I want to see us continuing to do that, serving more people in deeper ways, doing more music philanthropy, making sure that everyone has an opportunity to experience this building. It is a beautiful building up on a hill. That doesn't mean that we want it to be an elite building. We don't want that. We want it to be a place that's accessible to everyone. We want to expand the diversity, expand who comes to it. So I would say the programming will be similar to its core, but the goal is to expand it in such a way that it really truly becomes a mecca, I guess, for for music and for economic development and for the region, because I think that it can do that. I've already seen it doing that, and I think it will make a difference if we continue to kind of go down that path.
All right, one more. Mr. Manzi, you've already spoken, but go ahead.
Do you make the venue available for corporate things like a planning session or all employee meetings, something like that, or is that something?
Yes, we would do that. It has to be, we have to be careful bandwidth-wise how many of those things that we do, but yes, it is actually a really good corporate venue place. I mean, you can be in the concert hall having a large session, there's breakout rooms, there's all kinds of things. So yes, that is a possibility. We will make sure that we only do so many of them, but it absolutely is a possibility.
All right, thank you, Lisa, and everyone please join me in thanking Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you. This was great this morning. Before we wrap things up, a few quick things. Thank you to the team here at Devon's Common Center for the amazing service. Thank you to James at Air Public Access for joining us and recording today's event. It takes a village, and I appreciate the help of Ellen during my interviews and writing, and of course Megan for all of coordination for today's event. Very special thanks to our Fidelity Bank breakfast sponsor, Fidelity Bank. Programs on the table, highlighting some of our upcoming events. We have our Eggs and Issues, which is next Tuesday. That will be in person at the Chamber office at our new meeting space. We have a business after hours on April 12th. And of course, the Fidelity Economic Forecast Breakfast on April 13th, Thursday, not a Friday the 13th, a Thursday the 13th. And finally, did you know that today is National Peeps Day? Hence the peeps on the table. Please take them because I cannot eat all of those. Peeps were my mother's favorite, but only after they were left out so that they could slightly harden. And originally, peeps were only pink, yellow, and blue, and now they have fun, funky flavors. I think we have some berry, we have a party cake, and there's another flavor out there too. Surprise. Find out what it is. And every Easter, one of the things that I like to do with my niece and nephews, every Easter I try to get as many of the different flavors that I can, and we do a blind taste testing, and they're all kind of gross. But people do like them, so please enjoy. Thank you so much for joining us today. For all of our award recipients, we're going to do photos in front of the step and repeat, and we have boxes for your awards. Thank you to everybody for joining. Thank you to Fidelity Bank, and have a wonderful day.